Shalom, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Stone. Shalom also to the 1/3 Israelites, which include the Judas children, the so-called Nikos, Latinos, and Indians, who are still oppressed together according to the book of Jeremiah 50 and 33, but to whom soleil, paternity, adoption, the giving of the law, the promises, the glory, and the covenants, according to the book of Romans chapter 9, if you don't know. And we will continue in 5 signs that the war between Russia and NATO is about to spiral out of control. And you hear about this a lot. Point 1, a dirty bomb, okay? If you don't know what it means, stay tuned, okay? Because I will talk about it. There had been a lot of chatter about the possibility that Russia could start using tactical nukes in Ukraine, and now the Russians are alleging that the Ukrainians are preparing to detonate a dirty bomb in their own territory in order to motivate the Western powers to get even more involved in the conflict. Okay, but it will bring more escalation and it will bring more problems to them. So I don't know how this should help, because Russia, Gog and Magog, says already that they are past a red line, the Germans. So basically the Germans doing already more than, according to Russia, they are allowed to do. Okay. So how much more if they use now a dirty bomb, so-called? Okay. Because this will be another red line. Okay, and Russia showed that it will react according to what they believe is the correct answer. The correct answer, okay, is basically already too much, okay, because you have all these bombings in Ukraine, okay, and the critical system is destroyed, kind of like, they have already too much problems for the upcoming winter, many cities, many people, okay, so it will bring even more hell to their own people, okay, but you will see that they will still do it, but it shows that these people really don't know, how prophecies work, okay, because according to the prophecies, okay, Russia is a main player, okay, in this war, and Russia is a main war dude, what you really don't want to mess with, because according to the Bible you would know that they're about to start stuff, okay. But anyway, the more the people don't believe in the Bible and in the prophecies, the more it will be to their shame, to their destruction, and to their misleading, okay, and deception, of course, okay. Or to their own death, basically. Dirty bomb to conflict. There had been a lot of chatter about the possibility that Russia could start using tactical nukes in Ukraine, and now the Russians are alleging that the Ukrainians are preparing to detonate a dirty bomb in their own territory in order to motivate the Western powers to get even more involved in the conflict. Russia defense chief on Sunday alleged that Ukraine was preparing a provocation involving a radioactive device, a strong claim that reflected soaring tensions as Moscow struggles to stem Ukrainian advances in the south and is building defensive positions in anticipation of Ukraine offenses elsewhere. Okay, if you want me to prove that real quick, okay, about Russia being main player when it comes to wars in general, okay. We can prove it real quick, so we have already some scriptures here. Ezekiel 38:4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws. Okay, so clearly you see how Russia, even when this war started, basically, okay, it started long ago already, but when it really started to escalate, you had people in Russia talking about don't you fear God's judgment and things like that, talking to the West and people of the West and whatever. And the Russians are also not, or Gog and Magog is also not so kind of like or is not stupid. We call nobody stupid here, okay? But maybe some of them higher ups even was reading this, okay, or hearing the truth, our videos, thinking like, oh, if we that Gog and Magog, okay, then this all is basically talking about us, okay? And I even believe that at some point they really believe that they do basically kind of like a service onto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay, but really they have their own goals, of course, But I don't know if it was a woman or it was a man, but someone said, "Oh, don't you fear God? Don't you fear God's judgment?" Okay, and basically, this is the answer, right? Ezekiel 38:4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into their jaws. So even if a man or a woman believes that they do the service for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai or something, really they don't know what they're talking about, because first off, you have to be an Israelite, as I said in the intro, to do any kind of service for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay. And second, you have two verses, okay, two different verses talking about that a man, also not a woman, okay, it just talks about human beings in general, don't know, let me get it, okay. How can a man understand his own ways? Okay, you should know the scripture, I bring that out a lot. How can a man understand his own ways? Okay, so if we, the hopeful elect, don't even really understand our own ways, okay, how can heathen nations, okay, of course there are Israelites also, just as in other countries also, in every country are Israelites, okay, we as the sand of the sea, if you don't know, okay, type that in, sand of the sea, King James Version. Proverbs 20:24, man's goings are of the Lord, how can a man then understand his own way? But if the hopeful elect teaching this truth don't even really understand our own ways, man, how then, all these heathen nations? And I will bring thee forth, and all then army horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields. You see, all of them handling swords. So Yahweh is, okay, the power behind everything, basically. Okay, so if Zelensky really would be clever, okay, but he is anyway involved in the United States of America, okay, profiting from war and things like that, okay. Just watch his video with Beyonce dancing in high heels, okay. When the scripture says a man shall not wear that pertaineth to a man, okay. So of course there are connections, and these connections, okay, are not hard to be seen. So you would say that people are ignorantly of the truth, but also willingly or ignorantly, like the scripture says, okay. So if you have all these connections, okay, Zelensky dancing in high heels, okay, so you clearly see where it goes, being connected with USA who claims to be Christians or whatever, okay, but really they are Satanists, okay, and you have all these connections, okay, because why would then Zelensky dance in high heels? Okay, that makes no sense. Okay, look at the music industry, okay, so really, you can't deceive Yahweh, okay, you can just deceive yourself, okay, if you really think, okay, that you don't have to study and you don't have to be in the truth, even if you know and see all these things, okay, then you basically cut yourself, okay, and that is clear. I don't have to go into that, I believe. Okay, like Yahweh is a man that he doesn't know the humans, dogs, and things like that. Yahweh doesn't even know your dogs. Just okay, he even knows uh, your deeper inner dogs that you don't even know yourself. Okay. Okay, people really think that Yahweh, okay, which were called back then a demon-like power, okay, by the heathens, would play with these people, okay. Anyway, we'll continue. Russia's defense chief on Sunday alleged that Ukraine was preparing a provocation involving a radioactive device, a stark claim that reflected sour intentions as Moscow struggles to stem Ukrainian advances. In the south and is building defensive positions in anticipation of Ukrainian offensives elsewhere. Okay, and it starts even with Yahushua, okay? You know that story where Yahushua knew the dogs of the people surrounding him, okay? So he could already read people's minds, okay? How much more can the Father, okay, who created Yahushua, okay, do even more things, okay? Real quick proof that before we continue, okay? Salachia, I forget it, I was forgetting it. Let me get it real quick. Okay, the inner dogs, okay, or something, I don't know. Yahweh, okay. This is where I wanted to go also into, okay, for my dogs are not your dogs, okay, talking about Russia, neither are your ways my ways, said a lot, okay, so even if they do some kind of military action that benefits prophecy, I just say it like I said it to not bring confusion, it's still Yahweh has his ways that, you know, that they really don't know, okay? Because in the end, any nation will fight against Yahweh basically when he comes back. Okay, with the chariots and, you know, basically Israel. Okay. Yeah, even the okay, God looks into the heart, something like that. Oh, I was writing it wrong, so it's kind of like in the morning. This picture is so big here. Looks at the heart. Can. Okay, here. God looks into the heart. Okay, I can even read in the morning, man. Okay, it's so kind of like, my eyes are kind of like light sensitive, man. Okay, what if? 1 Samuel 16 and 7. Okay, but the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him, for the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh not, or looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. Okay, and the heart means mind. Okay, if you don't know in the Hebrew, the word is mind. Okay. This is not the first that I was looking for, but it shows you already that he looks into the heart, okay. There's a verse that talks kind of like in a different way about it, kind of like more interesting, but I even think that you know what I mean, okay. Anyway, he also spoke to U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin in their second call in 3 days, but a terror's Russian readout of that call didn't say whether the dirty bomb claim was also mentioned in their conversation. Okay, point 2. The US 101st Airborne Division gets deployed to Eastern Europe. The 101st Airborne Division is one of the most famous units in the history of the US military, and I was quite stunned to learn that they have just been deployed to Europe for the first time in almost 80 years. The US Army's 101st Airborne Division has been deployed to Europe for the first time in almost 80 years. Okay, which is Okay, what comes in your mind already is that a red line? No, okay, because the Ukrainians, okay, already work with air defense systems from other countries, okay. So that's just another air defense system, as it sounds, okay. Fun. But a really special one because um, they used it first time for almost 80 years, okay. Um, um, in almost 80 years amid soaring tension between Russia and the American-led NATO military alliance. But you have to think about all these nations giving their stuff to Ukraine, and Ukraine in the end loses anyway, and then they have no weapons themselves anymore. Okay, just like I don't know who was it, but was it even some German? I don't know, but they already talked about. But what if we give all these weapons there, but we don't have weapons ourselves then? Just because of Zelensky being that escalation. I don't know how I should say, but you know what I mean, okay? That escalation dude. Okay. And he should know Russian history and Putin's past and the Bible. Maybe everybody should know the Bible at least, for what information is out there. But even without the Bible, he should still know better. Uh, you know. But anyway, I think it's more like they both don't want to lose their face. It's kind of like more that thing, like Zelensky. I don't know. He dances in high heels, but he cannot say, okay, um, we don't want to mess with uh, the planet of Russia, because if you look on the map, man, okay, and you better believe that they make look Russia and Africa smaller than they actually are on these maps, okay? So America will look bigger then and more like a threat onto other nations, okay, which is of course the goal. But let's look real quick on the world map, because there are people that don't do that so often, okay? You would wonder, okay? Um, you would wonder sometimes, okay, what goes in the minds of these people. I saw a group of, like in my age, kind of like a thing. And my board made me look like a little bit older, I believe. Or that's what they say. And there were so-called Africans, okay, and they were asked if they know 2 or 3 more lands in Africa, and they knew one landman, okay, of Africa, one land, three. You would say, I don't know, really, like you expect them to how they look, with that swag and things like that, living in America, maybe even from their birth on, as for if you listen to them, how they talk and things like that, you would say they look like they come from Africa, but they was raised and born in America. Okay, and then you hear them to thinking 10 minutes, okay, and then they came to the conclusion that they come together of 2 lands maybe, or 2 countries that they know from Africa. Okay, you have all these countries and they know 2 together, man. Okay, so again, you would wonder sometimes. So that's why I opened just this map, just to, you know, that's why it's important to repeat certain things, okay? Because I have to look also on the map sometimes to um, reconstruct the map in my mind, okay? Let me say it like that, to have that better in my mind, okay? So this is Russia, okay? And that's a bad picture, by the way. But you can already see that Russia is almost a planet compared to other countries. Okay, for example, um, um, here Germany. Okay, what is Germany here? Okay, look, this is Russia, and this is Germany. This small thing here. Okay, So it's no wonder that many of these nations are kind of like thinking about or having more worries. Okay, day after day, the worries just increase. Okay, of rents, for example, and I don't know, but many of these people saying now, oh, um, you know, because they think actually also that this is not something where they want to be involved so much in. Okay, especially not anymore. Okay, because you see clearly that this will, I don't know what some people think, but I really don't see a way there to stop the escalating actions of both sides. Okay, that's weird. But let the people speak and and guess and debate all day. In the end, it will be prophecy happening, of course. Because some things for the heathens or for these people are basically kind of like, of course, oh, the Bible is an old book, of course, or oh, it's not even allowed anymore to talk about the Bible because it's such an old book. But the same way, okay, you would say you have to imagine Yahweh thinks of this world, okay, or the hopeful elect think of this world, okay, or the prophets. So of course everything will happen according to prophecy. That's not even in question, okay. But you clearly see that a lot of things happening here on this world are in question, okay. They even admitted that they never expected that this Russia and Ukraine thing will escalate so much, and they have to basically, um, uh, you know, um, that they have problems so much with gas and things like that. Okay, Germany even admitted that. Okay, is there wisdom no more in Tiemann? Okay, typed it in. Is there wisdom no more in Tiemann? King James Version, KJV. So a lot of things are in question here on this world. Okay. Of course, even if you are the biggest, even if you one of the people who have the biggest hope in Ukraine, that Ukraine will get all his land back and whatever, and blah blah blah. Even then, you have to admit that this is way out of your, or not way, but it is out of your control, and it is in question if that really happens. You see? But that's not so with prophecy. It is not in question that prophecy is 100% accurate, just as we know with the past things that happened. Okay, I give you an example before we will, and I think we do that in the next video. We go into these other points. It's anyway not so much anymore, but I give you an example. Okay, I give you, or we do it in this video. We will see. Okay. Let's see how, because sometimes it takes really long to type something in to bring up scriptures, because I want to show you something, okay? We have the third row and the second row, okay? Third row, second row, King James Version. I think it's the book of Revelation, okay? Revelation 11 and 14. The second row is past, and behold, the third row cometh quickly. Okay? And now we go into when was the book of Revelation. Okay, you know it somewhat, but when was the book of Revelation written? By divine men. Okay, was the book of Revelation written? And we talked about it in many videos. The third row, the first row was World War I, which obviously happened, and the second row was was World War II, which obviously happened. Okay, so if we look when this book was written, okay, I want to give you an example how accurate the Bible is actually. Okay, I don't want an exact number, okay, they can do that, really, they can't do that anyway, but there are different views, of course, there are always different views on very important things, okay? Because, certain key points missing, or certain key points can be, used different. But whatever, I'm not an expert in data, nobody of the hopeful elect really is that too much, okay? Because it depends more to have the spirit, and, especially the spirit of prophecy, and to understand how these numbers and all these data work together, okay? Because even if you would know some data, you already see that there are differences, so you can't be sure 100%, okay? There are different views to the time when the book of Revelation was written. Some believe it was written during the reign of Nero, AD 54 to 68, okay, or during the reign of Vespasian, okay, or how you say that, AD 69 to 79, or during the reign of Domitian, AD 81 to 96, okay, so you have kind of like 50 to 100 after Yahushua, okay, or after Christ as these ignorant people would say, okay. So, and they clearly never was reading the book of Apocrypha, okay. But anyway, that is kind of like the time. So we was going into that, and you should know it, okay. The First World War was there and there, okay. So about 1900 to 2000 until now. Okay, so if you think about the point that the scholar suggested the early date for writing books, that is 2 7 churches, blah 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 blah. Okay, anyway, you have all that kind of like in 100 years happening, all these three world wars, especially if you look at the first and the second, it was kind of like not so much time in between. So if it says, okay, it's kind of, okay, you would say, okay, it's a little bit, kind of like it's much time between the second and the third, but not so much anymore if you think about the same time where we're reading this, right in this moment, this minute where I talk to you, is this time of the Third World War. So then it is not really that it's not coming quickly. So it's coming quickly because the same moment where we talk right now is this quickly coming of World War III, you see? You see, I don't want to be deep here or so, but just imagine if somebody asks you, what he means with, the Third War coming quickly. You have two wars happening, and, the Third World War is still not here. But really, if you really would think before he asks that question, okay, the Bible clearly says that this is the last generation, and you have all the signs here for it, okay? And we will go into some more scriptures to prove that. So it is there quickly because we write here, okay? Even if it took a little while, it says it coming quickly, and it's the last war you have to think about, okay? So the last war can only happen in a time to end all, okay? To really end all wars, you see? Upwards of the people. So really, please tell me when all this upwards of the people and things like that happened or started to escalate on the world. Exactly. What comes in your mind? Hopefully, it should. Coronavirus. Ah, you see. When was really these big upwards and things like that on the whole world, not just in one country and things like that? Exactly. When the coronavirus came, and when was that? Exactly. Not so long ago, right? You see. So you clearly have all the signs that, like the scripture says, the tokens. That is a proof, okay, onto scoffers and people that don't know much about science or, or hate reality or whatever. But, okay, upwards of the people. Where is it though? Here, second S was 9 and 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, okay, and there's a woman that talks about earthquakes, I believe, every day, and she goes on, there's a website that gives updates on earthquakes happening on the world. I believe even she's a Jake woman. Anyway, you have earthquakes happening all day, okay? That was never on Earth. I believe even there's a number that can give you an increase percentage, okay? Maybe we can find it out, okay? Increased percentage, just to prove these points to you, of earthquakes. Earthquakes since... Okay, and you have certain prophecies, you know, that one earthquake where such and such men were killed and things like that. So you have prophecies happening that would happen in or before World War III. Okay, so of course the war comes quickly if you look what's happening exactly now with all these things right before your eyes. Okay, so it just would make sense of earthquakes on this since, okay, let's say 2000 or whatever. Okay, 2000 is anyway a really interesting date if you just look at it, and then you have also the prophecy of 400 years with Israel and things like that. Okay, so number of earthquakes global, insane, nearly here you have it, insane, nearly 2000% increase in major quakes since 1900. What's going on? I tell you exactly what's going on. Okay, 2000%. You never saw a number in your life that is about talking about 2000%, man. Okay, there you go. I bet the least of us saw a number that goes so high when it comes to percentage and increase or whatever.